All right. Well, here we are again. Didn't think we'd be back so soon to do another podcast that no one will listen to.
Oh God, where are we?
Yeah, it's still taking place in this ethereal, just void of Discord calls.
I was
because
at the bus station.
Now settle down now, Austin. We got a podcast to do.
I'm okay.
Yes, we are back for another episode of Raring Adventures and discussions about our favorite shows. This week, this one's got a little bit of a history, even though it is a recent Netflix series. It is a game that is, well, it almost consumed my whole life. And that is
our lives.
that is Dota 2.
For the worst, man.
It's so old. It's just so old. How is it still around?
It's like an old salty cracker that just refuses to crumble.
I guess that is the worst kind of introduction. Yeah, we're talking about the new Netflix Dota series, a series that I don't recall anyone asking about, but based on a game that, like, it's weird because it's not a very like prominent game. Dota 2. I mean, it's one of the most popular MOBAs like out there, but it's it's not like no CS:GO or League of Legends or anything like that to piss off all the Dota fans. Oh my God, Smite! Get out of here! Get out of here with that shit.
That's not even a game.
Oh, come on, guys.
No. All right, you're the mythology buff. That's your little niche there. What is Smite? It wants to be a MOBA, but it doesn't take itself seriously at all. I've seen some of the skins, Eric. You can't deny it. It makes fun of itself a lot.
Yes, it does.
Right.
It's got a sense of humor,
Yeah, but there's a limit.
Fun.
It needs to be a respectable, robust, and highly competitive game like Dota 2.
Yeah, it's not a MOBA without a toxic community.
Oh, I know. From the person who has been, God, I probably have the lowest behavior score out of all of us in the group who used to play Dota.
You definitely do.
I had some issues. It's because
anger. So much
people
anger.
play the game like shit, and then they have to behave like toxic assholes. I just have to be a toxic asshole.
Exactly. Well, here, it's not even my fault. It's that it's like you have to be in this game for 50 plus minutes with people you absolutely hate.
I think that is.
Yeah, and no potty breaks. No potty breaks.
No potty breaks. No farting around.
Yeah, you get potty breaks. It's just if no one's gonna pause for you.
Or you use a bottle. The bottle method.
Be a man. Use a bottle. Right under the desk. All over the floor.
Oh. I mean, that's basically the quality of players I was up against. It doesn't matter which. Like, everybody wants to win, but nobody wants to play support. So when you play support, and then everyone just kind of leaves you in the dust, like, ugh.
What do you mean you can't ult the entire team? Get out of here!
I can't just keep buying wards if they're constantly out of stock, and they keep dewarding. So that's kind of why you keep getting ganked. Bitch.
I don't know why we're talking about the game when it's the show we watched.
I mean, that's. We could just
is all about getting sidetracked.
That was just the jumping off point. We're actually just going to be talking about our complaints with like how long we've like 5-6 years of Dota experience and whatnot.
Oh God, I think my
one
first
too
game
many
was back in 2014.
Yeah, something like that. I just remember because I was in college and I was just dicking around looking for a free like game to play, and then there's just here's Dota 2. It's one of the most popular free to play games. It's like this can't be possibly backfire on me in any way, shape, or form. Oh, it completely destroyed my social my ability to socialize with people for 6 years. And it turned me into just a complete asshole to everybody I knew, even people who didn't even know what Dota was. Like, I'd just be in the library studying for finals, be like, hey, do you have a pencil? Why didn't you gank mid, you asshole? Dude, I don't even know what you're talking about, man. I'm just asking for a pencil.
We gotta take out the tower. What tower?
Wards. Jesus Christ.
What do you mean, like a cross?
I'm
All right.
sorry. I'm sorry. The correct answer is it's 14, not 14K gold to buy a recipe for a shadow blade. But I guess eventually we're going to have to talk about the actual Netflix series. I don't, actually, because it doesn't feature nearly as much of the heroes that I mained.
Same here.
Doesn't focus on,
I'm
you
happy.
know, the greats like Necrophos or Sniper or fuck, who else did I play?
Because, Zach, they have no honor. They are not heroes. They have no honor like Dragon Knight, the most
Yeah,
noble of all the heroes.
The one
they-
hero
Is
that
both
you
dragon.
main.
Yeah,
He
but
is
like,
both
fuck
dragon
them, right?
and knight. The most noble of things.
The series kind of made him bitch made, you know what I mean? Like,
You shut your whore mouth.
You got a point there, Austin.
I guess I take that back. It features one hero that I would not main, but like was in my roster, and that is Luna. And I will say, henceforth, there will be no Luna slander on this podcast. She is a perfect woman who just
In every
made
conceivable way, even
Exactly.
though her ult is for bitch babies.
Eric. You're a bitch baby, all right? You play Treant Protector.
Aye,
That-
Luna.
That's
Did
peak
You
bitch
have a
baby.
fair point. You have a fair
Did you
point.
see them kill your panther? Did you see Luna?
Oh, she's so perfect and so Scottish. She can do no wrong. That's just it.
Even when
Oh, she can do
committing elf
plenty wrong.
genocide.
I don't care if they're war. You can call them war crimes. Just call them accidents. You know, mistakes were made.
That was a war crime. That can only be described as Geneva Convention level war crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, but does this universe has its own Geneva Convention? I don't think so.
Get out, Eric.
I
It
will
would be
not,
breaking
because I'm
it.
stuck in this
You're
universe.
ruining the jokes. Ugh. All right, so for real now, real talk.
Yes, this iteration of Dota. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, guys.
I liked it. Honestly. I think people talked about I think one of the things people been calling it is like Castlevania 2.0, which I kind of agree with because the animation style is almost like it's pretty much the same animation style.
Well, it's the same studio who did it. Like,
Yeah,
can't really fault
which
them for
I
that.
mean, like, I'm not faulting that. And in fact, there is like difference between the Castlevania and the Dota 2. I mean, similar art style, but the Dota 2 is it uses a lot more lighter tones, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, it's because like
contentious.
Castlevania is like a grimdark, like everything sucks and everything is like in darkness. Also, similarities between Dota 2 and Castlevania. You know, like everyone's just so attractive. Everyone's hot. Like
Everyone's hot.
Dragon. That is the one inaccuracy I have to fault, Austin. Dragon Knight in the game is not nearly as hot as he is in the Dota 2 cartoon.
Give it time.
Sure.
There's going to be some alt skins coming.
I think it's definitely amicable that they're trying to give a linear plot, not a linear plot, like a structured plot to a game that has a bunch of lore, but it's kind of loosely threaded together in this kind of sort of like, yeah, you all have your backstories and worlds, and some are connected, some aren't, but let's try to make a cohesive story out of all of this, which is perhaps why you're not seeing like nearly as many characters, because it seems like it's a very human-centric kind of story for the first one, at least.
I think so, but I think they're setting up. They've done a very good job of kind of setting up. One, you have your main conflict and villain, but then you also have like we have alternate realities, and we can bring in other hero like Dragon Knight, Luna, and Mirana being on one plane together. That there can also be like other planes, like you can have like I don't know, like Bristleback, Bounty Hunter, and Tusk could all be on like a different plane together.
Yeah, I mean, but again, the stories are interconnected. So, I guess for those, like, we should just keep a good tally of like who are the heroes that are featured in season 1. We have Dragon Knight, yeah, as you said, Mirana and Luna, Invoker,
Mhm.
big guy.
That was very I like how well, we'll come back to that.
In Joker, in
No,
Toker,
in Toker. Oh yeah.
Terrorblade.
I like Terrorblade as the main villain.
I could have sworn I thought they were going to be setting up like Legion Commander like later on in the season, but then Luna ended up killing like that one. Was it elf or human that they kept as like a prisoner of war?
No,
I
she's
was
still
I
alive.
don't know.
Oh, I could have sworn that Luna killed her eventually.
No, at the end, like she launches
I don't
a
remember
rebellion.
Okay, I mean, I guess
Still
I'm just
alive.
listing off the heroes, and I guess not a hero, but of course, the shopkeeper.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
See, that's
And
the one
the
thing I like is
I
like,
really
Dota,
wanted it to be Gaben.
I like how Dota has this loose lore, and I like how the show is taking some of that and putting it like little Easter eggs throughout, like the Gem of True Sight, the shopkeeper,
The headdress.
the headdress, yes. Um,
I thought it was.
even like Salamene being like,
Right.
"Here's Salamene," it's like, which I'm hopeful. Like, I want to see whoever does the voice of Agamemnon. I want to see in the show, like eventually.
Right. Oh yeah, and also I forgot Winter Wyverns also like makes a brief cameo.
Yeah.
Where is she? Is she in the opening, or where did you see her?
She
No.
was like when Dragon Knight. Well, when what was it, Davrin? Like, what's his actual name? The Dragon
Davian.
Knight.
Davian.
Davian. Yeah, when he's like meeting with the Dragon Council, like Winter Wyvern's like one of them.
Is she? She's on the council. Is she?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was her. Okay.
Yeah.
And
And
then
then when
who
like
is Invoker?
Invoker takes her essence or whatever.
Is that Winter Wyvern, or did he?
Yeah, that is
capture
Winter
the
Wyvern.
sea? Okay.
That is
All right.
definitely her.
I'll go with you guys then. If you're saying it's Winter Wyvern.
So we already have almost all of the dragons, except for, Austin, I probably think you would agree, the best dragon, a Mr. Jack Iroh.
Yeah, Mr. Jack Iroh, for sure, needs to be in there. I don't know where he is. It's going to be interesting, because I wonder if he's going to exist in the same, like, realm, or if we're going to see, like, he's going to be part of an alternate, like, I wonder if we're going to do some plane jumping as the season goes on.
That's the point. They're
We can
definitely going to
probably
do that.
assume that they're going to try and link together as many heroes. Definitely not all of them, because that would just be a nightmare.
They probably will. I think there's going to be a big, like, I think what the ultimate goal will be is, like, you're going to show all these different planes, with the focus being to that ultimate conflict of the Radiant and the Dire. Here's the Radiant side, here's the Dire side.
Yeah, because I think, what is it? The narrator is like Oracle.
Yeah.
He makes a cameo there
Oracle
too.
Makes a brief. I love Oracle. It's like, I see it all. It's like, you okay.
Yeah,
but
if we see Oracle, then we know that like Phantom Assassin's going to show up. Possibly then Spectre is going to then make a eventual appearance, because that's, I don't know, people have theorized that Spectre is like a future Phantom Assassin. Like, there's a whole theory with that.
Yeah,
I have never heard this theory, but go on.
I mean, there's a lot of fun you can have with this.
Right, especially since, and I guess that's going to be trying to flex my Dota lore, and I'm going to probably get it all wrong. Isn't like Razor like the warden of the Underscape where Terrorblade escaped? So we might see Razor, or is he a different? Is that a different warden?
Razor is the warden of like the Let's see here. I have it pulled up just in case of this. He's kind of like actually he's like oh god, in Harry Potter where they have the Dementors that are kind of like floating high above and like acting as like flying guards. That's kind of what Razor is.
He's like the head warden guard Dementor guy.
Yeah, he kind of patrols it.
I see.
Yeah. And I think Razor, it's Razor, who's the gargoyle?
Oh, Visage or Visage if you're
And-
annoying.
Yeah. And I think Arc Warden is actually the warden.
No. Arc Warden is like the third essence. Like the Radiant and the Dire are two like
Never mind.
he's like the third ancient.
He's supposed to break the tie.
But will he?
But
I think they'll keep it pretty dichotomous between the Radiant and the Dire. We got a good look at like what creeps are, like when Davian like
I don't
goes
think
to
those
see.
were creeps.
It looks like creeps.
I think those were actually. I think that was indirectly a hint that Undying exists.
Yeah, I mean, Undying has his own lore. He knows like it's tied to Invoker, I think. Yeah.
What?
No,
You're saying Diane's lore isn't tied with Invoker?
Well, not lore wise, but I could have sworn that one of his voice lines like mentions Invoker's like real name, implying that he knows Invoker.
Oh, okay.
Carl.
that's Carl.
No, I am Invoker. It's like, yeah, I'd change my name too if I was like an all powerful like sorcerer and my name was Carl.
Well, he says it. It's like there's power in knowing names. You have power over someone if you know their name.
Which, can I just say, perfect characterization of Invoker and then all Invoker players. Giant dicks. just
But true.
Giant Konami coding dicks.
Oh, you think you're so smart because you memorized your Wex Quas Exort combos. Ooh, I'm such a big brain genius. Well, guess what, fucker? Fucking lightning, fucking
Me
die.
Meteor than
Zeus Bolt.
Ghost Walk.
Zeus Bolt. Anywho.
Yeah, well, Zeus Bolt.
So, and it's kind of interesting that Terrorblade's the main villain when there's so many other like demons in Dota.
Yeah, I was really hoping for like Shadow Fiend, but like Terrorblade, it's like all right, I guess we can go with him.
Well, Terrorblade's a nice beginning, like, because he is a threat. Like, he is like in his lore is like he tried to. I forgot what he exactly wanted to do. I just know that it was so bad that like Satan himself was like, "Yo, buddy, this guy got to be under lock and key. I ain't dealing with his bullshit." I mean, you can't just have it be like Doom season 1 because it's like that's just Satan. You can't just have Satan on season 1. You got to build up to Satan.
Actually, if you read the lore, yeah, he is like Satan plus.
He is definitely extra.
He's extra Satan. So he did everything to get kicked out of hell, went to super hell, otherwise known as foul fell, and then where looking at his reflection should have driven him insane. He actually flips it on his own reflection and becomes master of it.
That's Terrorblade?
Yeah, that's Terrorblade.
Yeah.
So, I mean, properly fitting villain. I'm wondering how the other demons, like, because we got Doom, we got Shadow Demon, we got Shadow Fiend, I guess technically Underlord.
Well, isn't Shadow Fiend just a kind of lackey of Doom to like collect souls?
It could be.
Just kind of do stuff. I mean, you also have just kind of the more like mortal villains. Like, isn't Axe just supposed to be a bad dude?
He's just like he's the best guy with an axe. That's all.
Hey, buddy. I think we need to have a talk, man. He's called a few heads that didn't deserve to be called.
He's the axe man.
Except when you use the Arcana, and then he becomes the Fist Man and just punches really hard.
I love that Arcana. I have that Arcana.
Yeah. Villains, yeah. There is like a whole like Radiant Dire, and then like the gradient between.
Mm-hmm.
But you have plenty of big bads. I think there's gonna be a lot of like, stuff to take down Terrorblade. Like Terrorblade's enough as it is for a season 1. Then when he's taken down, you could probably introduce like I don't know, Shadow Demon or Doom.
I mean, Doom, or you could introduce Chaos. I mean, there's like that's kind of there's so many characters in Dota that it's just gonna be fun to watch as they bring them all in.
Of course, the ultimate like bad guy. Well, technically, bad guy is the Dire. Like that's the end game. Even there's Satan, Doom plus, but then of course there is the Dire, which is like the embodiment of just evil.
And that's why the Radiant has IO.
Can we trade? Trade for someone. Like I know Wisp is like this like super clutch, super great like pro strat support hero, but for everything else,
no one actually like success. Everyone thinks, oh, I can play IO. I just tether onto someone. It's like, no, you got to do a little bit more than that. Just
it's easy to learn, impossible to master.
Exactly. So, but I do like this clash that's being set up between. It's kind of like Terrorblade, and I feel like it's going to be Dragon Knight. And I think I'm kind of wondering if what we're going to see is he's going to pick up the rest of the dragons.
Perhaps. I mean, we already have this conflict between like his order and whatnot, because of course, they give you the origins of how the Dragon Knight became the Dragon Knight, but that's going to be clashing with his order that is meant to kill dragons, and he himself is now part dragon.
We're going to just carefully, surgically, painfully remove him.
Yeah. So, I mean, so we have the heroes established in the lore within. How do you think they dealt with like the characterization of the heroes like available? Like Mirana and the Dragon Knight. What do you guys think of the like characterizations?
In the beginning, I was kind of like with Dragon Knight. I'll put it this way: I don't like when characters swear needlessly.
Or like a sailor.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that in the beginning kind of put me off with the Dragon Knight character, because it's like people always use swearing. It's like, oh, he's edgy because he swears, and it's like it's a very cheap way to show emotion, in my opinion.
He's pretty.
You mean more cliched?
Yeah, cheap, cliched. It's like it's just not it puts me off, I would say. So it's like I don't so initially I didn't like that with the Dragon Knight character. As it went on and that kind of got dropped, I liked more what they were doing, where they were showing more of his emotions. They were showing like when I think when Mirana tells him like, look, it's not cowardly to run, and he says, I'm the Dragon Knight, I don't run. It's like it kind of shows how strongly he believed, like pretty much the whole reason the dragon was like, yeah, okay, we'll do this weird hybrid thing with you.
It's gonna get a little freaky, a little mind and soul bonding,
Yeah.
It's also deeply sexual.
Like extremely sexual.
I'm
Are you guys complaining?
I'm not complaining at all.
The whole reason he woke up without his clothes.
Someone just got cuter. Especially when he did that like half transformation.
That's one of my favorite things in the series is how each time he transforms, it gets more and more draconic, but it's also like it's a mixture of him and is it
Slyrak, I think his name
Slyrak, yeah. So it's like he starts off, he's just kind of like a human dragon, almost demon-like appearance, and then now he's getting a tail and wings.
Right.
Although I must say, when he turns like half dragon, he reminds me of Etrigan.
Yes. Yes.
And I always feel like he's gonna bust out and rhyme.
Yeah. The first time, yes, but I feel like he's gonna I think subsequent transformations are gonna be more interesting.
Okay.
Which then leads me to believe like he's gonna pick up probably 2 to 3 more dragons, because in the game he has the black form, the green form, and the blue form.
See, senor.
Yeah, it seems like. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work out because it's like it's supposed to be kind of a meld between him and the red dragon. Yeah, is he just going to be like Dragon Master? Got to catch them all.
I kind of feel like that's going to be the case, just to prevent Invoker from, I guess, giving all the dragons to Terrorblade.
Yeah, Invoker. Should we move on to him next, or like, do we still want to talk more about the Dragon Knight guy?
My only thing is, I almost wonder if he's just going to become like the eventual end game will be Terrorblade has some cosmic level power, and then it's going to be against Dragon Knight with I think it's the 8 dragons and what they represent, kind of being the embodiment.
Who are the remaining dragons? I feel like
it
maybe
really wasn't talked about. Like, I think it's like the 4 and the 4
the 4 elements and the 4 aspects of nature or something like that.
Yes, so it was like, I guess life. I guess one's chaos. We know that, and then I don't know what the other 3 are. I mean, the 4 elements are obvious: earth, wind, fire, water.
Remember.
I was water.
I was about to say this would be a good time to add in like an Earth, Wind, and Fire song.
Of course.
Varia, do you remember Varia, when Sienna died?
Of course. Invoker wanted me to forget, but I remember the 24th night of September.
only after he gets Earth and the Wind Dragon. Can that joke be made?
I would give you money if that came true. I would pay you.
Retroactive bet right there. Predicted that joke.
Of course.
That would be so. How long? 5 seasons in. 5.
I don't want it to be
set up.
Yeah, I don't want it to be like a 1v1 kind of situation. Bring it in like the original game. They're gonna have to make a team up of 5 members, and it's gonna be a nice little like 5v5, and they're gonna have to assault. Like, okay, Mirana and Luna, you'll have to take the bottom lane. I'll have to take mid.
I honestly feel like it's gonna be like
Good luck with that.
It'll be like Dragonite and Terrorblade at the mid, and then like Mirana and somebody else on the sides, and then obviously the 2 support.
We need support.
Yeah, exactly.
Why won't anyone play support?
Why isn't anyone throwing me things?
And
Dude, I'm farming.
And what about Tiny? He'll have to be our roamer and our ganker. just like casually, then like in battles, like we'll have to throw out Dota terms, just like if only I had a blink dagger, I could blink in.
I mean, they already were with the Gem of True Sight.
Yeah, but Ricky Maru isn't here yet. That's worthless.
Man, Ricky Martin's not in the game.
Ricky Martin, Bounty Hunter, they're not here. Okay. Yeah.
But what about Sniper? He likes to go invisible. If Tiny finds him, he's dead.
Look, I will say this as a point of like how disrespectful I am as a Dota player. I did main Sniper a lot. Yeah. But then at the same time, I would be totally all right if he just had one scene in Dota, the TV series, and then was just immediately killed. I recognize that I do play a lot of Sniper, and that he also needs to just be killed immediately in the most disrespectful way ever.
Like, brutal, just brutal.
Like takes his own gun, shoves up his ass, and just keeps firing until the cartridge is empty.
Absolutely. Just the most brutal ending you can come up with is the thing he deserves.
Exactly. Who else is my a Legion Commander? A Legion Commander can kind of like pop in at any time, man. Like
I think we might have. I think that head elf. I don't think she died.
Well, that's the thing. I forgot that Tresden is human. She's not an elf.
Oh, she is.
It's not him.
The one who was in jail by Luna?
Yeah.
That's it.
Unless they're going to do some sort of weird retcon where it's like, no, the Legion Commander is an elf. It's like, well, that's
I
weird.
doubt they'll do that.
I mean, it seems like a lot of the Dota characters are like elves.
Only
two of them have been. Well, not even two. Like, because Luna's human, isn't she?
Wasn't she half? Isn't she a halfling? I don't know.
She's beautiful. That's what she is.
Sorry, I wasn't paying that much attention.
I think if we look up her lore, it would say that she is human, but if we look in the show,
she's a leader of men and beasts.
I feel like we're Googling it.
I'm looking at the story. I'm not seeing anything that mentions she's human or not.
All right,
I'm not looking at porn on here, I swear.
Shut up, man.
I'm not looking.
I'm looking at Luna Ludes.
Yeah.
Luna Ludes.
Yeah. You eclipse that. You eclipse that with your ass. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, I think she probably is human. I mean,
Well,
nothing to imply otherwise. There's nothing to imply for it, but she probably is human. But anyway, so they talk about Luna. What do you likes, dislikes?
I think I've said too much already. People are going to be commenting that I'm just like you're just like some sort of Luna simps. Like I do. I am. That's fine.
All right, then Marana and her
Moving on.
Marana and her weird bodyguard.
I feel like that was. I don't know what kind of decision that was. I wouldn't say it's a bad decision. I'm just kind of like, let's just see where this goes. What's happening with this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know. Marana's character, I like Marana in the show. It feels very Wonder Woman.
Woman?
Yeah. Who doesn't like Wonder Woman?
I mean, I don't.
Go to your room.
Go on, keep going.
It's more the silent bodyguard. I'm kind of like, okay. I mean, I get it. She's technically a princess, but protection. But I mean,
it's kind of like that. But at the same time, it's we got to kind of give her something to work off of, because I feel like Marana herself was kind of like this. Just the princess archetype, and then she kind of is like, oh well, now I need a reason to kind of like have Davian help us. I kind of need a reason to get situation. Oh, well, I'll just have this mute like bodyguard kind of thing, who also just seems to be like Superman or that's the Wonder Woman there, because she's like strong as fuck.
I know, that's the
don't you diss the deaf girl. She is best girl.
No one's disagreeing that she's best girl. It's just kind of like, it is kind of.
Who are you again?
If you're gonna have if you're gonna have a bodyguard, you're gonna need that's your bodyguard right there. But I think Zach put a good point. She does seem kind of out of place.
Almost like, right, because otherwise, like, Marana wouldn't really have any reason to like team up with Dragon Knight.
Yeah, exactly.
And it seems like that's just kind of the whole reason for that.
You have the Hulk under control. Why do you need the Dragon Knight? It seems out of pity.
And that's kind of what it was for a while. It's just like, hey, I feel sorry for this guy who we found in the middle of the woods with no clothes on, that we didn't totally do any inappropriate stuff with. All right.
Not that time. Not that time.
So I think they are kind of taking that whole unlikely allies or heroes kind of approach, because it did seem like without some meddling, like the Marana's storyline and Dragon Knight storyline were like parallel to each other. They didn't really intersect that much.
Like, it's where, yeah, you're right. It's like they're parallel. Like, there's no reason for them to intersect. It's just like, You know what it is? It's like, hey, I just happened to meet this person on the road. We're kind of going the same direction. Let's just stay together.
Right. And I feel like that's just going to kind of keep happening. We might have just because again, like for example, like Crystal Maiden and Lena's, like they're warring sisters, so they have their own storyline. But then something tangential will be related to where they team up or at least cross paths with, our main characters, and that's kind of how that happens. So I feel like that's just going to keep happening, like. And I think that's kind of the bigger point of Dota is that, like, something about Oracle saying, like, there's just kind of these paths that will just kind of meet, and then maybe like bisect, and then just otherwise just like, almost like it's kind of like, that whole Fate and Destiny kind of shit.
Well, like we said, like, this is the end game, right? We know where the end game is. It's just we're watching the journey right now. Like, we're watching as everything is kind of like it's pretty much like a bunch of tendrils are out there and going back to the source.
The shopkeep will probably have some more to say about that too.
Oh yeah, that's gonna
praise be the Lord Gaben.
I've always thought if like the shopkeepers are like the embodiments, like the physical embodiment of like what the Radiant and the Dire are. Like one side is like, here's the Dire Keeper, gonna help my like, kind of like in Crash Bandicoot where the two masks, I forget their names, but
Uka Uka and Aku Aku.
There you go. Eric got him. Like how they can't directly get involved, but they can support other characters as they are involved.
I think it's not a Radiant Dire thing. I think it's kind of like a Arc Warden thing where it's like it's just a third party. What does a hero really need? Like, he'll give Axe his axe and give like, a sword to, Dragonite or whatever, Hyperstone, Raver, that kind of thing. Just like, whatever a hero needs, I'm just here to do business. He's the venture capitalist in the neutral party in this war between good and evil.
I kind of want to see that be like a thing they bring up, is that here's like physical embodiment of the two sides. But anyway,
what does a hero truly need? And gives like a key item to all the heroes, like, and sniper. What does a hero truly need? Just shoots them. Shoots them right in the face.
I carry my sniper in between my butt cheeks. Just for adding insult. Yeah.
Does a hero? You need to be put down, sniper.
Quit calling yourself a hero, but I am. Boom.
You're dead.
God. So, all right. So we touched Luna, Mirana, Dragonite.
I'd like to touch Luna.
Yeah, of course you do.
Invoker, yes.
It got busy with the moon goddess. That's what I love.
Got busy, but then also like the moon goddess then ghosted him and his dying daughter, and like this is just a lesson,
daughter.
Right?
She's like, "No, you're my mom. Why the hell won't you do this?" And I'm like,
"Because your mom's a bitch."
Like, whoa, your mom is a bitch.
Let this be a lesson to like everybody. Ghosting is wrong and it's bad, because then your jilted lover will, get in cohorts with the demon to plan your ultimate downfall. That's what happens when you ghost.
Honestly, the whole plot with Invoker and Salamene is my personal highlight of this season, because it was like seeing like the dark side of like goddess worship, seeing all that stuff, and then having Salamene like having sweet justice invoked upon her, pun intended. It was like that was the most cathartic. Am I using that word correctly?
Cathartic? Yeah, right. That whole fight between her and like Terrorblade's like, man, he is like fucking her up, man.
Yeah, I was giggling when he used Terrorblade used his ultimate. I'm like, yeah, he did it. He did the thing.
Yeah.
Ah,
I like the
Sunder.
mirror. That was one of my favorites. Was how they like. I was waiting to get into this. Was like the showcase of abilities. Like
Mm-hmm.
you realize the power gap. Like Dragonite is nowhere near able to fight Invoker, and like Invoker and Terrorblade are on a whole nother, like are in God plane pretty much.
I don't know, man. I didn't see any tornadoes or EMPs from Invoker. He may not be that powerful.
Not yet.
I didn't
Not
see any
yet.
meat. I didn't see any meatballs. All right.
No meatballs for Oliver. I mean, imagine the destructive force of one of those. Come on.
Yes, and
Just
even like the
waiting.
powerful invocations, like he says, that's a spicy meatball, and just meatballs for all.
Boom.
It's just like the Italian, just Italian.
Don't a lot of that.
So, but yeah, what that brings up Terrorblade. What do you think of Terrorblade as the villain?
I think, we already kind of touched upon that he's a
Yeah.
fitting villain. Really, any of the demons were a good choice because it is just that external threat. It kind of obfuscates the end game enemy, which is, of course, the Dire, who are kind of like, of course, pulling the strings of like, why do these evils exist? Oh, because the Dire exists, and things like that.
What if we find out it's a never-ending conflict?
I mean, that's the point.
Right. I again, correct me if I'm wrong, but basically the point of every game of Dota 2 is that it's like the final battle between like Radiant and Dire, and whoever's like team wins is like the end of that conflict. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean, but what if it's like, okay, so it's this time around, it's more of like, like kind of like Wheel of Time, where it's like it just keeps going,
Yes.
Like it's like, okay,
well, no, because
this conflict, the Dire, it was like Dragonite's team versus Terrorblade's team, the Dire won, but next time around it's Tiny versus Doom.
I think it's less of a continuing. I think it's less of it's a continuous timeline and it's a multiverse theory, like conflicts that are happening across a multiverse simultaneously, which is perhaps why we get like, Tinkerer and Sniper and like freaking Timbersaw and Clockwork and Zeus. Literally,
Zeus.
No, it's not like just some guy. No, it's like the actual Zeus.
All pissed off. No one cares about Zeus anymore.
That's why we also have Mars.
Mars.
Mhm.
Oh, I love Mars.
So yeah. So whenever there's like a game that ends with like either then it's just a parallel, like we go over to the next dimension or universe, and then another kind of similar conflict. So it is a never-ending conflict across just a multitude of simultaneous battles between good and evil. It's all very stupid.
There has to be some end game.
No. I think the only people who would probably know that would be people like Weaver or Faceless Void who exist outside of time.
Or would you say Enigma too?
Enigma
no,
is an
Enigma is
Enigma.
just space. I thought Enigma was just like he's space.
He's a space guy.
Yeah.
But no, people like Weaver and Faceless Void are people who exist outside of time and then they can therefore see at the end of time. But of course, Faceless Void does not have a face, so we can't see any of that. That's
So he is blind.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Blind. He just keeps hitting at things in the wall.
He uses echolocation. So, this series does have a lot of potential. It depends on how creative they want to get with their kind of like multiverse thing. Because as a viewer, and if you're just kind of trying to see this as a linear piece of time, from a series perspective, it can be very confusing because it's like, say, for example, season 1 or like this whole arc with Dragonite ends, and then it's like, here's book 2 or part 2 with now it's following fucking who else? Legion Commander, just for an example. It's like, well, wait, hold on. We're not going to see any of those guys again? It's like, no. This is a new timeline. It's a new world. Well, that's
This
stupid.
is a new parallel. So
Unless there's going to be some sort of fuckery where Oracle's like, the meeting of all worlds into like one. And then we're going to have like some sort of Avengers moment where like everyone like comes out of the portals. And...
That's almost what I feel like it's going to be. Like the Radiant convergence and the Dire convergence. I feel like that's what's coming. Like that's going to be the ending, but I was just kind of speculating with like the Wheel of Time style.
Right. And of course, the hero will emerge from all of this and bring an end to the conflict between the Radiant and the Dire. And it's a hero that we have not mentioned yet.
Meepo?
Techies.
Oh. That one's also good.
Techies. Just like as everyone's kind of just wheeling, just battling it out in epic styles. It's like spell slinging, swords clashing, and then here's techies just kind of pushing their cart around. It's like, we gotta blow up the Dire. We gotta blow up something. And then just hop in, explode, and suicide bomb everybody. We're fucking it up.
Everyone's fighting. Here comes techies with the nuke.
Tactical nuke inbound.
Wheeling it. Gyrocopter. He has the nuke.
They all have nukes.
But Gyrocopter's stupid. Also, he's old. I don't like him.
Can't see, can't aim worth crap.
He is a dwarf. Your point is invalid.
Oh wait,
so is Sniper, and so is Zeus. Zeus is a dwarf.
Zeus is
wait, hold on. I thought he was just short.
Wait a minute, it's not. Oh, he lied.
Wait, how can Zeus be a dwarf when he's like an Olympic Greek god?
He incarnated. That says he was forcibly incarnated into like a mortal form, and I think it turned into like a dwarf.
I look at a short guy. Yeah, I still just like not all short people are dwarves. Meepo isn't a dwarf.
Let's not acknowledge Meeps, okay?
Meepo is a mole man.
Meepo is Bugs Bunny. All right.
Yeah, he is.
But I guess there's another character. Yeah, did we ever get any sort of references to Roshan?
Not yet. Oh, well, there you go, Roshan. Roshan's another one.
I feel like he will. He'll have to make some sort of appearance because I think the Ages of Immortality.
Yeah, he definitely
fits into a plan somewhere. Same thing with Agamemnon's scepter.
Oh god!
Which, of course, if there's
I don't know
Ags.
If you guys played during the Agamemnon's event, he was so much fun to listen to.
Listen to what now?
There's actually an event where they revealed Agamemnon, like who he was and his scepter, and he's actually kind of evil, but he was like the fun kind of evil.
Because he's technically like Rubik is his son, isn't he? Like technically.
What?
I thought that was part of his lore that like Agamemnon like had a son, and that's Rubik. I know it's somewhere in this lore.
I'm looking at it.
I think there's like a line of like, oh, his father's all-powerful scepter was like once his to command, like he was after it, envied it, something along those lines. Rubik also is just somebody who is like, this is why you have to take your ADHD medication, kids, or else you'll just turn into Rubik.
No, I'm looking at the wiki. Yeah, Rubik is his son.
For real?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it in his lore.
Well, look again.
I see too right here on the Dota 2 wiki. It's like after his disappearance, his namesake scepter was passed on to his son Rubik.
Oh, it says it on the scepter.
No, well, on the wiki, I don't think it's in the scepter description.
Like, what wiki article are you looking at?
Yeah,
Dota Gamepedia.
Dota 2 wiki. I'm looking at like Rubik's backstory right here.
Okay, I don't think that quite invalidates mine right now.
I mean, he hasn't showed up in the show yet, so it's not really that important.
Who knows? We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Just like it, just at the end of season 2, like you just get a shot of like some disgusting grungle toes, just Rubik. It's like, he's coming in there. It's Rubik. That's Rubik and his dirty grungle feet. That means we get eggs and get all the other cool shit.
Huh. Reddit says it. No, Steam it. I don't know what this is.
I mean, and nobody ever said that Dota 2 lore was like cohesive.
Yeah, it's kind of like, so where are you pulling? Did someone just like fanfic this, or where did you pull this from? Is my thought.
I think if you just kind of look, I think Eric is referencing like Agamemnon, like has his own wiki article that probably has that.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
I mean, Dota 2 lore is like a collection of half stories, and good shit. Oh yeah. Also, we could basically just fill the rest of the time with just heroes we wish we saw in the first season of Dota 2, or the first season of Dota. I guess
that brings me back to Fearman, or whatever the little elf girl is who blinks in and out of existence.
She's Ogre Magi, isn't she?
Yes. That will be it. Invoker will curse her to be Ogre Magi.
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemies.
Yeah, that sounds awful. Anyway, it's it's like I don't know. I just don't know who she's. I almost wonder who she's gonna be. Like, is it gonna be like, oh, she's anti-mage?
What?
Or
what?
No,
she can blink.
Okay, well, so can Phantom Assassin. That doesn't make it.
I mean. So it's like, is she Phantom Assassin or is she Templar Assassin because she can go invisible?
That's also, I think, because these people have their own lores. Like, I think the studio might just be making their own character. Also, I know they made Femme Anti-Mage, but like Anti-Mage has his own backstory of like he's on a quest to destroy all magic after magic killed his father or his monks or his order or something like that.
Yeah.
Also, he himself is also kind of a dick.
He kind of is a dick.
Everyone in Dota 2 is a dick at some point or another.
Everyone is dicks.
Yeah, so but they might just be making their own hero or just a sidekick. Like, that's just fine.
That's what I'm kind of like. I'm like, all right, well, here we got another sidekick. Although I almost feel like it's gonna be like a later, like a later reveal that she's actually so and so, or like she could be Vengeful Spirit.
Wait, no,
she can't be Vengeful Spirit.
That doesn't make. She's a bird person.
Yeah, she's a bird person. Never mind.
Skywrath Mage. Yeah, the bird people. We need to introduce them too. You need to introduce a lot of people.
There's a lot.
No, wait, no, I got it, Austin. She's tiny.
She's gonna get turned to stone by an accident.
And then become tiny.
Become mentally retarded too.
Whoa.
Well, Eric's canceled.
Jeez, Eric. Just because he speaks in the third person doesn't mean he's an idiot.
Does it though?
He's getting upset.
Well, I think it's implied that Tiny is a tad slow. He is a rock head.
I mean, the guy's got no agility gain, man. Like, he's the definition of slow. Yeah, no, I mean, only time will tell. They're going to get a season 2. I think it's just going to be a slow process to like get more people involved. And
yeah, because it's not like animation; it's a tedious process.
Yeah,
yeah, we'll see season 2 in like a year and a half or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. I kind of wonder. I think I'm almost wondering if like we're going to see liberties taken with some of these characters.
You think?
Well, they're kind of already taking liberties by, making the Dragon Knight so hot. Like, that's a liberty that...
Yeah, I know. This entire season has been, like, artistic liberties.
Yeah, and they made Luna a bad guy. She's not a bad guy. She's perfect in every way. She can't do any wrong. Those elves deserve to die.
Those elves were causing problems and needed to be put down.
Luna wouldn't have had to kill them if they didn't tick Salamene off so much, man. Like, it's really their fault. All right, I think we can move on to final thoughts before we end this.
I think so.
All right. Sure. Do you guys have anything?
I'm just kind of like, man, I hope I see more of the heroes I like.
Well, okay,
that's everyone's thoughts.
I was going to say, Austin, like your favorite hero was already the main character. Like,
no, my favorite.
Shut up.
But my favorite's Tiny.
I mean, Davrin's got a tiny brain. There we go.
I do like Davrin.
You're not, my previous point isn't invalid.
I didn't have to use a slur for that one, Eric. I could just call him stupid.
He's just a retard.
He's not a slur.
Yeah, it is.
It
can be, yes, but
what do you can be?
It can be.
Well, you use it in anger.
Who are also mentally retarded.
Oh, jeez. All right. I think that's a good way. Is every podcast going to end with all of us just being canceled for some reason?
Yeah.
Well,
why no one listens to it?
Ah, fuck. All right. Yeah, you're right. Well, I better end this before anyone else just decides to
sort out more racial obscenities.
Someone's gonna say the N-word.
Oh God. Yeah, no. I think you just be fired at that point. Well, good night, everybody.